Following video is brought to you by the Boston Sports Entertainment Network. Please consider liking and subscribing for more Boston sports content.
The red, white, and blue. I can't lose with the red, white, and blue. My whole crew is the red, white, and blue. I represent the stars and stripes. I am a patriot, a true American. I am a champion, yes, and that's on everything. I will protect my home. I will defend, fighting tooth and nail to the bitter end. I don't play to lose, nah, I play to win. Rain, sleet, or snow in the wingland. What? Let me say it again. I play to win. What it is tradition. I'm in the game, playing like Brady. 10 soldiers deep in the field, no Navy. Riding for my soldiers and they riding for me. No matter where I touch down, it's a TD. 2 hands up, yep. Field goal.
Hello, everybody. Good evening. Welcome back to another episode of Pat's Nation Nightly. I'm Zach Ventola, joined as always by Ben Belford Peltzman. Getting ready for some roster talk. A lot of cuts made today by the Patriots. A lot more that are going to have to go down tomorrow. But Ben, how are you doing today? You're muted.
Starting off strong. That is awesome. Okay. Can you hear me now?
Yeah.
Awesome. First day of school today. Been a long day. Last day of school, I guess, senior year. But it has been a... Yeah, exactly. As you can tell, it's been a long day. But it has also been a long day around the NFL. The Patriots and 31 other teams have been making moves all day. They have to get the rosters down from 90 players, cut around 37 players. I think that checks out. To get to 53 players, the Patriots are at 75 players. They've made 14 cuts today, which means they have to make 22 more cuts. Again, that is hopefully checks out. But around 22 more cuts to make for the Patriots. Kind of going over some of the cuts today. We'll start at the beginning with long snapper Tucker Addington being one of the first to let go. And before I want to talk about all these cuts, I just want to put out there, a lot of people forget that these guys, this is their job. They just got fired, right? I know that some of these guys are just numbers. Some of these guys are just names too. Do have lives. They do have. They're all human. So just to preface that before we get into these cuts, and as we go tomorrow, remember, someone gets cut. It's not even just them, family, friends, everyone. So, with that being said, starting off with Tucker Addington, who was kind of a camp body, long snapper. There's really no reason to carry 2 long snappers on the team. I mean, there's not really that much to add. But before I let you go, Zach, I want to add the next guy who was cut, who was tight end LaMichael Petaway, who was signed at the end of last year. He played a little with the Colts. And right now, I believe that the Patriots have 4 tight ends still on the roster: Hunter Henry, Austin Hooper, Mitchell Wilcox, and Jaheim Bell. Is that correct?
Yep. Exactly.
Yeah, so...
Go ahead.
Yeah, I was just going to say, so they cut those 2 tight ends, LaMichael Petaway and Jacob Warren, who was a UDFA from Tennessee. Zach, your thoughts on the tight end room to start?
It's still a very thin room, and that's a position that I would expect the Patriots to prioritize on waivers, as has been very much so emphasized by Gerard Mayo, Elliott Wolf, and the media over these past few days. The Patriots are third on the waiver wire, so they have essentially third priority after the for any players who are cut. And that means that they're going to have a shot at getting some real talent and bringing it in to New England. That tight end room looked good when healthy, but Hunter Henry has been dealing with something recently. Mitchell Wilcox has been dealing with injuries. I believe Hooper was, if I'm not mistaken.
Yep.
So Jaheim Bell started last night, and high potential guy, 7th round pick, but he was projected to go earlier than that. I haven't really loved how he's looked during training camp in the preseason, in all honesty. I know some people have been a bit higher on him than I have been, but not a guy that you want out there week 1 as a starter or really getting significant playing time. So I would absolutely expect the Patriots to really, really prioritize and put emphasis on the tight end position over these next, or I guess over this next day on the waiver wire.
To be honest, you've never really been high on Jaheim Bell from the day that he got drafted. But
I wouldn't say that. I liked him when he was drafted.
All right. Anyway, moving on here. I guess the next position group would transition to is the cornerback room, the defensive backs. The Patriots first cut Ozzie Hoon. And
Azizi.
Yep. Azizi Hoon. I knew I was getting that wrong. Sorry. I apologize. And I think that was it. They only cut that one
Mikey
cornerback.
Victor.
Sorry, Mikey Victor. Yeah, shout out Carlos Los Talks Packs for that. But right now there is a big emphasis on what you do between Isaiah Borden, Sean Wade, Marco Wilson. I want to say Marcus Jones, Jonathan Jones, and Alex Austin are all 3 locks for the room, and of course Christian Gonzalez. But between those 3 players in Isaiah Borden, Marco Wilson, and Sean Wade, those 3 players are all up in the air right now. The team really likes Isaiah Borden. They really like Sean Wade. And they recently gave a new contract to Marco Wilson over the offseason. So, who survives out of those 3, Zach?
See, that's tough. The cornerback room is probably, I would say, the Patriots' deepest position. If not, it's one of their deepest positions. I would think that Sean Wade and Isaiah Bolden make it, and Marco Wilson might just be the odd man out. But I don't think that that's because of a lack of talent there. It's really, again, as I said, just because he's the odd man out. He is possibly, I mean, maybe he's not the worst, but in my opinion, he is out of those 3 guys who are fighting for that roster spot, or maybe 2 roster spots. So he would be great to get back on the practice squad if possible. I would be kind of surprised if he clears waivers, though. If Marco Wilson is cut by the Patriots, I would not be that shocked. And then I think they would keep the other 2 roster bubble guys with Isaiah Bolden and with who is it? Now I'm blanking. I just said his name too.
Isaiah Borden, Marco Wilson, and Sean Wade.
There we go, Sean Wade.
Sean Wade.
Yeah. Long day.
Yeah.
A lot of news.
Yeah.
But yeah, so again, I would expect Bolden and Wade to make the 53-man roster.
I agree. And that's somewhere where the Patriots, Andrew PGS Nest put out a roster projection on the Patriots beat. You guys can go check that out this morning. And it was a tough decision between taking another running back, taking another cornerback. So definitely go check that out. Moving on a little bit here. Taking just a little bit of a transition away. We'll stick with this for 1 sec. I want to talk about Sean Fenwick really fast because he was a UDFA running back, and this is a room who I've talked to a few people, and the Patriots really like Terrell Jennings, and right now it is my understanding that they view him as a 5th running back, and they wouldn't keep him. It would be a long shot to keep him since you're probably not going to carry 5 running backs on this team. Yep. Which would mean that obviously Antonio Gibson and Ramondre Stevenson are that first tier of running backs. And then you have the veteran JaMychal Hasty.
Kevin Harris to round out that room.
Exactly. And Kevin Harris, who scored last night.
Yeah.
It was
great play.
It was a great
play.
And I guess we can talk about that too. That's kind of what I wanted to transition. But before we talk about that, let's just mention, what do you think happens to that room? Is Terrell Jennings a candidate to stay on the practice squad? Hasty make the team? Do they carry 3 running backs, 4 running backs? What are they doing there, Zach?
Yeah, that room is another really tough one where, again, as you mentioned, Ramondre Stevenson and Antonio Gibson are very clear and obvious roster locks. But after that, I would say that those next 3 guys all deserve a spot. They just can't all get one. Probably the Patriots end up carrying 3 running backs. There's a slight chance they carry 4. I would think that it's going to be Kevin Harris. That would be my guess just from what we've seen over this past month. I guess it's been now 2 month and a half, whatever, however long it's been. I would think that Kevin Harris is going to be day one, the New England Patriots RB3, and Jermichael Hasty might make the roster as an RB4, really a receiving threat. But more than likely, I would say he's probably going to be gone. And Terrell Jennings has looked great, runs really, really hard. I just don't know that there's a spot for him on the roster. And if he gets waived, I don't know that he's going to clear waivers. Again, he has looked very solid during training camp and in the preseason, where I think he will probably clear waivers, but no guarantee at all because he is a very talented player. If he does, though, would love him back on the practice squad. I think that would be what happens in an ideal world.
Absolutely. And like you said, I know that Terrell Jennings does have interest from a lot of other teams in the NFL. Moving on just a little bit, we'll kind of come back here at the end of the show because all these rosters have to be cut down by 53 tomorrow by 4, and then practice squads start forming on Thursday or Friday this week, later in the week, because all these players who are not those veterans will have to be subjected to the waiver wire. And then the veterans will have a chance to become a free agent and pick where they go. So, last preseason game yesterday. I was there. It was ugly. It was bad. And it wasn't a fun game to watch, so to speak. And it kind of reminded me. I mean, okay, well, it kind of reminded me of the 4-game stretch or 3-game stretch of like last year of like the Giants, the Colts, the Chargers, like the 6-0, 13-6 stretch in like November, December. And I mean, looking at the stats in front of me, not to just like read off the stats, but Drake May, I thought was worse than 13 for 20. 7 incompletions. I mean, that's still not great, but he started off really, really strong, and then it was pretty ugly. And not to knock him down, the offensive line has been the talk all day today on radios, on news networks, writing everywhere you hear, listen, speak, find out about the Patriots. The offensive line has been talked about today at some point. And it's because, I mean, you don't have to be an NFL expert to know they're not a good offensive line together. My brother, who's 10, is like, why do we have such a bad offensive line? I had to explain, like, I don't know, like maybe because we like
Chukwuemeka for is lining up illegally every play.
Why? Wait, Ben, why are we lining up illegally if we play in the NFL? I don't know. I wish I could tell you, but it's something that, I mean, obviously he's gonna watch that tape and he knows better. Like, it's something he can fix, right? It's not like he has the talent to be on this team. He's probably gonna be on this team. He might start on this team. But that's got to be fixed, and part of it also has to do with that officiating crew was just looking for the airtime. I feel like they were just like calling everything.
Oh man, that ref had like the most powerful first down motion I've ever seen. He was getting into it like that was an experience watching him. But not to get off track, going to a core 4 real quick. I do agree, like that's something that is easy to fix or should be, but Gerard Mayo said it multiple times after the game in press conferences that Okorafor and Mike Onwenu as well were warned multiple times to stop lining up illegally before the flags were thrown, and Okorafor was still called on it 3 times. So, yeah, okay, that's easy to fix in theory, but then when you do it 3 times after being warned multiple times before that, I mean, that's something that he should have adjusted to during the game and not something that he should have to watch on film and prepare for week 1.
Yeah, and I feel like again, not to get off topic here. I know we're only 15 minutes in. There's so much to talk about right now. Everything is just like coming to my brain as we speak. Another thing to talk about is Jacoby Brissett getting injured. Apparently Adam Schefter said he is okay. They said he was okay today, but still Jacoby Brissett got injured. And then your thoughts on Gerard Mayo saying today, saying a lot of things. One, that Drake May outplayed Jacoby Brissett this summer. 2, that Drake May is definitely the backup quarterback, which, I mean, shouldn't be a question, but it was. But mainly that first point being that Drake May outplayed Jacoby Brissett this summer.
Yeah, I mean, I think that's been pretty obvious. May did get off to a slower start than Brissett did. Thought early on in camp Brissett was really impressive, but in these preseason games, Jacoby Brissett has had absolutely nothing going for him, while Drake May has looked, I mean, this might be exaggerating a little bit, but he's looked like a star, in my opinion. So, yeah, okay, May is going to start as QB2, probably. No official decision yet. But I think that is more so because of the struggles we're seeing on the offensive line, the possible struggles that we could see and that we're anticipating for with the wide receiver room. I fully expect Drake May to be QB2, but I don't think that is deserved. I just wanted to bring this up because I thought it was a little bit funny with all of the talk with Drake May, where he is looked really good in these preseason games, but what if the O-line could block? Or what if the receivers were getting more separation? Drake May caught a lot of attention in the pre-draft process with his draft comp being Justin Herbert, and everyone saying, oh, Justin Herbert has those same like hypothetical what if he had this or had that. I just thought that was a little bit funny that Drake May is very possibly going to get that same treatment, but that part doesn't matter. Really, what is important is Drake May has looked very good, but we'll see, with this offensive line situation, if he'll really be able to start. And if he's not the week 1 starter, that is fully because, in my opinion, of the surrounding cast.
Yeah, completely agree. Sorry, my Wi-Fi cut out there for a second. But I completely agree there, and I think that your offensive line isn't going to get significantly better in the next 5 weeks. It could get improved tomorrow. It could improve when the trade deadline happens, but again, are the Patriots really going to be buyers at the trade deadline? Probably not.
And there's probably offensive tackles are hard to come by. There are not 64 starting caliber offensive tackles in the NFL, and especially left tackles. There's not 32. There's nowhere close to that, quite frankly. Yep. So teams are not really going to be trading their starting caliber tackles.
I mean, it's probably one of the most premium positions, right, in the NFL.
Yeah.
It's really important, and I feel like the Patriots, I don't want to say when they get that high draft pick. Let's say if they get that high draft pick in April, they will be targeting a tackle.
Will Campbell.
So, yeah, exactly. Let's go to, we touched on the roster projection. We touched on Gerard Mayo.
We have a couple questions in chat. Yeah, I just want to get to those.
Okay.
From
by
Ken.
Awesome.
Yeah, we have 2 by Ken actually, but Going to start out with this one. Back to the roster cuts. Who could we see being a surprise cut by 4:00 tomorrow? That is the roster deadline. I mean, I don't know if there are any surprises, to be honest. I mean, maybe if you want to consider Bailey Zappi a surprise, I don't think so. I think he'll get cut. I don't think he's a surprise. One of those running backs, I guess, could be a surprise between JaMychal Hasty and Kevin Harris if one of them get cut, or maybe one of the cornerbacks, Marcellus Dial, even though he's looked bad in the preseason. If he gets cut, that could be seen as a surprise. If somebody like Sean Wade, Isaiah Bolden, one of them gets cut, maybe that's a surprise. But I don't think there's going to be anybody who is like, oh, wow, I did not see that coming at all.
Completely agree. I think that last year that surprise cut was like the Lawrence guy. And he got cut, and there's one other.
Well, that was after the season, though. Lawrence Guy and Adrian Phillips. That was once.
That was after. Sorry, no, I'm not thinking.
That
of
was
him.
once Mayo came in.
He went to He went to Seattle. It was during roster cuts. He got cut last year. He was a veteran. He was a defensive lineman. Oh my gosh.
I can't think of who it was.
Do you know who
I'll find it. I'll find it.
Okay. He went to Seattle and then played with Dallas too a little bit.
Keep going. I'll find it.
Okay. Find who it was last year. Okay. My surprise cut, I guess, would be is Cole Strange on the PUP? So I know you're doing like three things right now. He is. Okay. That I really don't think there's gonna be a surprise cut. Honestly, like those guys you mentioned are probably most likely than not looking on the outside looking in. So I don't think there's a big surprise cut. I'm just looking over the roster and I really don't see anyone that would be a surprise. It's going to be really hard to find 22 people, right? Because obviously they only cut 14 today. But just looking over, I mean, the biggest thing I'm watching for tomorrow is Chad Ryland and Joey Sly. I think it's leaning towards Joey Sly right now. Even though, I mean, those field goals he attempted yesterday, I mean, I was at the game. I think it was 65 yards. Was it not? Like, it was something like that.
Yeah, it was 64 yards at halftime and then 60 at the end of the game. Both were
exactly.
missed.
Yeah, they were. I mean,
but I mean, I think now I've been very heavily supporting Chad Ryland for this kicker job, but Joey Sly in the preseason has gotten, I believe, all but one field goal attempt, not including PATs. Chad Ryland, I think, got his first field goal attempt last night from 38 yards or something close, which he hit. But it seems to me that the Patriots are fully preparing for Joey Sly to be their kicker, just with the way that they have organized the preseason kicks with Joey Sly kicking that 64-yarder and kicking that 60-yarder, where those are kicks that you would want to see, oh, can my starter make it? Can my starter make this 64-yarder at halftime? Can my starter make this 60-yarder at the end of the game? And you don't really care that much if it's the guy who you're expecting to be your backup. So that's why I would say Joey Sly is more than likely going to be the Patriots Week 1 starting kicker. And going to transition once again, we still have 2 questions from Ken in the chat. With this offensive coaching staff, what must Coach Mayo and the offensive coaching staff do, especially with the offensive line before Week 1? Just be disciplined.
I was just legit going to say discipline. That's all it is. Discipline. I want to pause in between Ken questions here because I think we both agree on that. I'm looking at the roster right in front of me, and I was looking at it, and when we were doing this roster projection, I am going to give you a little quiz mid-air. We've never done this.
Lord.
And I feel like we can start a little back and forth surprise pop quiz. You'll never tell me when it's coming. I won't tell you when it's coming. So our first pop quiz here goes along with the question. And it's funny because I was going to ask you this regardless, but it goes along with the question. How many offensive assistant coaches can you name on the team? Easy enough.
All right.
You got it.
T.C. McCartney, Taylor Embry,
Yep.
Taekwon Underwood, Scott Peters. Are we counting like coordinators?
Sure.
Van Pelt, Covington, Springer, Troy Brown. Wait, did you say offensive or just any? Sorry, I zoned out.
Just
offensive.
offensive.
All right. So take out Covington and Springer. My fault.
I did. Oh
my, Tyler Hughes. I didn't say that. God, there's like 3 quarterbacks ones that I'm just forgetting because there was
you're missing
Tom.
the tight ends
What's
one.
his name? Tom, the old guy. Do you know who I'm talking about? I'm completely like blanking. Oh, tight ends is Bicknell.
Yep. Good.
That's all of the positions, right?
Yeah, there's one more main one I would say, but that would be it. He went to Pitt. Coached at Pitt. Played with the Patriots.
I already said Taekwon. I already said him.
Oh, you did? Okay, I did him.
I think I said him second.
You passed. That's the next thing I was gonna say. Good job. Was that I was sitting behind the Patriots bench yesterday, and Tyler Hughes.
I forgot McAdoo.
Gets. Oh, I did too. Wow. Ben McAdoo. Yes. Tyler Hughes gets animated. He was the most animated by far of the coaches yesterday. Like every time an offensive play, running back didn't block or whatever it may be, he was animated. Like I mean, I'm not even over exaggerating. He was animated.
Did you say or did you see what's his name? Scott Peters, like what do Chris Parks call it? Like call to Jesus talk or something like that.
It was really funny you said that because like how they spread like the sideline, they use a lot of the sideline, but where I was sitting behind the Patriots is right in front of the offensive line. And I was almost trying to like listen in to see what they were saying.
Yeah.
I love Chris Price. It might have been a little over exaggerated.
Okay.
I don't think it was definitely a call to Jesus moment, kind of, but like he wasn't throwing the iPad. I mean, he might have did like a little like you know, like that. But like Tyler Hughes on the sideline is something else. Like he was like jumping up and down like when something didn't work. Like it was anyway. Not to get sidetracked here. Okay, so
this
that
is
was
the really important Patriots talk.
Exactly. I mean, today
you won't get this talk anywhere else.
Yeah, I mean, today it's just been like yapping, I feel like. But I mean, we got some solid listeners, so thank you guys. What we're gonna try to do as the school year picks up for both of us is do these types of shows as often as we can during the week. They usually, like you see now, will not ellipse 30 minutes. And then maybe on the weekends, we'll do a longer show. We will still be interviewing various beat reporters, previewing the game. Our Bengals reporter we're still trying to figure out the exact date and time. When we get that, I will let you know. We will let the Twitter know. I'll let the Instagram know. We'll let everyone know. But like these will probably be Pats Nation Nightly, staying true. Pats Nation Nightly. So every night or close to that. Excluding like a lot of Thursday and Fridays don't work. But anyway, I really appreciate you guys all for listening. And make sure whoever's listening.
Hold on. Wait. We got one more question from Ken. We can't miss it.
I mean, Come on,
Ben. We have to answer all of our questions.
We have to answer every question. Well, let me read it.
Okay.
With the season just 2 weeks away, could you guys see Jalen Polk seeing 6 to 8 receptions in week 1?
Yeah. I mean, that's high expectations.
Fantasy points for me. What?
That's high expectations, but yeah, I could see it. Polk has been, in my opinion, by far the Patriots' best wide receiver in the preseason and in training camp. He has just consistently done whatever they've needed. I would say if I'll throw this out there, if Jacoby Brissett is the starter, I think it's going to be more like 3 to 5. If Drake May is the starter, I think it's going to be closer to that 6 to 8 range. Not necessarily because May is like a better player than Brissett, even though I think he is, but just because of the chemistry that they have, feels stronger than the connection that Brissett has to Polk.
What's chemistry?
Like, they throw to each other, like Drake May throws to him. What do you mean?
You see the Deion Sanders thing?
No.
Oh no, so you won't get it then. You're not hip, I guess. But
My fault.
Deion Sanders held a press conference and he was like, "Well, what's chemistry? What does chemistry mean? What does working together mean?" Anyway, I thought it was funny, so I threw that in there. But yeah,
Okay,
totally
my
agree.
bad.
No, it's not. Anyway, I think that they're not throwing the ball 25, 30 times a game. I think they're going to throw the ball 18 to 20 times a game, honestly, especially in the beginning of the year. And I just can't see how Jalen Polk gets 40% of those reps. I think Tamar Douglas is going to have a ton of reps. I think he's going to lead the team in receptions. KB is going to be good. I think KJ Osborne. And as much as people like aren't as high, there's a player who people are not as high on as the Patriots are, and I guarantee a receiver, and I guarantee you can guess it here. And I think he's gonna
Osborne.
be someone else. Come on.
Oh. Well,
182 pounds.
Okay, that does not help me. I don't have the
Yes, it
players' like
does.
weights memorized.
No, Tyquan Thornton, dude.
Oh
There's a
yeah,
whole
okay.
thing of
My
him
bad.
paying. So come on. So anyway, I think Tyquan Thornton is going to be heavily involved. So
Mhm.
with that, as I was saying before, we just answered that question. Make sure you turn post notifications on for Zach and I tomorrow. I have been working really, really hard tonight and kind of all throughout the day with working towards getting information
He's been
about the
working the
roster.
phones.
Exactly, working the phones. About today and then tomorrow. So, with that being said, Zach, you have anything else?
Yeah, I mean, just real quick, I want to, because this will only take us like a minute, just one final thing to look out for tomorrow. I want you to give one, then I'll give one.
We mentioned the kicker competition. Mentioned the running backs. I'm trying to think of one that's like. Okay, I have one. Doesn't pertain to the Patriots. I want to see. I am keeping my eyes on which, like we talked about, which tackles, which guards, which
Tight ends.
probably tight ends.
Yep.
I'm trying to think. Maybe you throw in a linebacker, depending on Taki status. Maybe you throw in.
Donovan Peoples-Jones is available, apparently.
I was gonna say wide receiver. I just don't think he can hop the depth chart of whoever's on there right now. But
Yeah.
I'm just looking around who else is available, and I would expect a decent number of moves to be made. Kind of close to the wire tomorrow. That's usually how the Patriots operated on deadline day. Usually, we're looking. I bet between 1 p.m. and 3:30 will be a majority, if not all, of the cuts.
Yeah. My thing to look out for, injured reserve. They have the new rule this year where before this season, if a player was placed on injured reserve on cut down day or before cut down day, their season was over. Now it is, if they're placed on injured reserve on cut down day, two of those players can be brought back. So I would expect Christian Barmore to be placed on there. Maybe City So if he went down last night, if that turns out to be something serious. A couple more names, I honestly don't have them all off the top of my head, but a few players who have been dealing with injuries, Marte Mapu even, who could be placed on injured reserve tomorrow, and two of them would be able to be brought back during the season after 4 weeks. But with that, we're going to wrap it up there. Thank you to everybody who is listening. Really appreciate it. We'll be live back again probably tomorrow or the next day. Tomorrow.
Mañana. Yep,
Tomorrow.
mañana.
There we go. Espanol. Did you have Spanish like last block today?
Oh, no, I'm not in Spanish. Thank goodness.
Wow.
I took 3 years of that, and I'm done. All right. With that being said, enough talking from us two. We guys talk to you tomorrow.
Thank you all for listening.